Greetings, the Hijabi gamer here, and yes, I did it. I watched all of The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, here's a picture of my monitor with the end credits. I did watch it on my computer this time, because this way I could use the second monitor to play Destiny 2. If you've played any Destiny 2, you might recognize the map, a piece of the map of the solar system on the second monitor. Because yeah, there was no way in hell I was going to continue this movie without something like Destiny 2 to help me through it. Yeah. Now, as a Muslim who doesn't drink, I can't deny that there are times when I wish I could get drunk. No, this is Red Bull. Sadly, however, I suspect that there is not enough booze on this planet to make me forget this movie. Yeah. Wow, I am impressed. Now, everyone seems to be focusing on The Last Jedi. There is a lot of people talking about how much if you don't like it, you're a horrible person who apparently is alt-right, kicks puppies, and steals candy from children. You also cheat at Fortnite. But I didn't see a lot of people talking about The Rise of Skywalker. Now, so I thought, okay, The Last Jedi is the worst of it. Clearly, you know what? I can get through The Rise of Skywalker. Can't be that bad, right? Wrong. Wow. Why isn't anybody talking about this one? This one is really bad. I mean, people often point out how Bungie's a pretty poor storyteller, which even me, with my thousands of hours of Destiny time, I cannot deny there are times when the story gets a little cringe. And you're looking at someone who actually enjoyed the original campaign to Destiny 2. I liked Destiny 2 right out of the launch, but even I have to admit there are some cringe moments. I also, though, think that there is more depth to Destiny than people give them credit for. And if you really listen to the characters, I mean, I've been wanting to make a video about Ghost for some time now, because I feel he's an often neglected character who has more depth than people really give him credit. But compared to The Rise of Skywalker, Destiny 2 is a masterpiece. Yeah. Now, The Last Jedi, don't get me wrong, is a very bad Star Wars movie. Some might appreciate it as a movie. Me, as someone who's watched Star Wars, I can't separate the Star Wars from the movie, but I'm sure there's some people are. And I don't see as many inconsistencies as I do with The Rise of Skywalker, because The Rise of Skywalker is both a bad Star Wars movie and a bad movie overall. It is impressively bad. I have here pages of notes, and this isn't even everything, because I was playing Destiny 2 at the time, and every time I would stop to write something, you can't pause, so I would die. So yeah, I finally just gave up, and honestly, if I were to go through this list, I would be at it for hours. Now I'm still, even though I've done 10 attempts at this video, trying to put my thoughts into words, because it is so bad. But the primary thought that keeps coming to mind when I think about this movie is two kids in a room with a large toy box. Each one of them is trying to one-up the other. So one of them digs into the toy box and pulls out a Jedi and says, "I got a Jedi Knight, and he's got a lightsaber." The other kid says, "Well, I've got two Sith, a master and an apprentice, and they each have 2 lightsabers each." So the other kid says, "Well, I've got an army of Lego men." And the other kid says, "Well, I've got an army of aurors, witches and wizards from Hogwarts." And the other kid says, "Well, I've got a fleet of Klingon battle cruisers." And they keep going back and forth, pulling random stuff out of thin air, just trying to show how much more powerful what they have is. And this is what this movie feels like. They basically pulled stuff out of thin air to keep making things worse and worse and worse. So just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, boom, something suddenly appears to do just that. So, what do we have? We start off with the First Order, formerly known as the Empire. Let's not kid ourselves. Okay, First Order. Then you find out, well, the First Order has near complete control over the galaxy. In the Resistance, there's no one left. Well, very few left. Okay, fine. Doesn't make much sense, but okay, where are you going with this? Then you go, aha! Emperor Palpatine is still alive. Wait, what? Alright, and not only is Emperor Palpatine alive, he has a massive fleet of ships. Huge, bigger than any fleet you've ever seen before. Okay, when did he make this massive fleet? And not only that, Emperor Palpatine can shoot lightning from his fingers and reach all the way into the sky and destroy your rebellion fleet. Unless they somehow manage to stop that, but yeah, lightning from his fingers reaching up all over. Okay. Right. Yeah, yeah, you know what? What have you been smoking? Maybe you shouldn't smoke that stuff again. Or maybe you should share, because then I would actually appreciate this movie more. It doesn't make sense. It's so disjointed and ridiculous. And, wow. So, one thought, I suddenly remembered something while watching this. Now, I haven't seen The Return of the Jedi in a couple of years. But, I wanted to make sure. So, apparently I have access to this very valuable resource that the people at Lucasfilm on the story group don't. Yeah, it's very exclusive, limited access. Yeah. It's called YouTube. I was pretty sure that the Death Star 2, the end of Return of the Jedi, was completely destroyed, but I wanted to make sure. Yeah, it was. There is no possible way Emperor Palpatine is anything more than space dust. Even the Death Star 2, there's probably maybe a couple large chunks the size of a house, but nothing. Now, look, don't get me wrong. The Death Star on that planet looks really cool. It's really cool to explore it. I get that. Don't get me wrong. Really cool. But does it make sense? Hell no. Did J.J. Abrams ever watch the original trilogy? I mean, you don't even have to watch the original trilogy. It's on YouTube. There's more than one video. So the entire basis of this movie makes no sense. Palpatine is dead. Period. Maybe this is Rey hallucinating because she ate something she shouldn't have on Luke Skywalker's planet. When she went to look for him, this is basically, we're still at the end of The Force Awakens. She ate something, and now she's hallucinating or something. Because this doesn't make sense. At all. Right. Now, the entire movie is basically a Lord of the Rings trek in space. You even have, now I can't remember whether he was Merry or Pippin. I'm pretty sure he was Pippin. But he might have been Merry. Along for the ride. Okay, fine. Let's say Palpatine, who shouldn't exist, is on some secret ancient Sith planet. Okay, good for you. Right. So let's say the way to find that planet is through some ancient artifacts. Why the hell is it the way you find that ancient artifact is using a dagger and a relic of a Death Star? Look, there is no way that Death Star has not shifted. There are waves whacking against it. 2 days after it crashed, that dagger would no longer work. Several years later? Hell no. This is basically like saying that the key to translating ancient hieroglyphics is using modern-day Arabic, which, by the way, Arabic and hieroglyphics have absolutely no connection at all. Their origin is completely different. Arabic is actually a Semitic language, which has more in common with Hebrew than hieroglyphics. It makes no sense. The map to an ancient planet is being found with a modern-day dagger. I mean, just none of it makes any sense. You might as well look for the location of Exalt in my cat's litter box. Okay. Fine. Fine. She is now going to this Death Star. Well, what do they tell her? Wait a few hours. Things will calm down. will go and get it. Now, she can't apparently wait. Which, now, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jedi can drown, right? Seriously. All she had to do was wait a few hours. They needed to fix the ship anyway. I'm pretty sure they could have used her help. And did she really think no one would have noticed that she had left? So not only is she putting herself in danger, she's putting, obviously, you know who's going to follow her. Finn. So she's putting herself in danger. And hey, okay, fine. Jedi can't drown. Finn can drown. Good job. You put yourself and 2 others in danger when you just couldn't wait a few hours. Excellent work. In addition, I started to lose track when she was hallucinating and when she was not. I mean, seriously, I'm trying to find it, but at some point I commented that Jedi seem to hallucinate all of the time. Because once she gets on that Death Star, right, first she starts fighting with herself. And then she runs into Kylo Ren. And I thought, well, he's not there. There's no way he's there. Nope. Apparently, it took me almost half the fight to realize Kylo Ren was actually there all along. Yeah, what is that anyway? I didn't know that was a thing. He's on the planet, she's on his ship, they're fighting each other somehow. And now the cat is snoring. You can't hear it, but she's snoring. Wow. And then she stabs him, and then she heals him, and then he runs. The difficulty is the entire premise makes no sense. The entire movie basically feels like J.J. Abrams had a big box of toys. He pulled out a character and he said, "This guy's cool. I want him in my movie." And someone said, "But he's dead." And J.J. Abrams is like, "I don't care. He's cool. I want him in my movie. And you know what else I want? I want him in my movie. I want him in my movie. I want him in my movie." And people are like, that doesn't make sense. He's like, "I don't care. They're cool. And I want them in my movie." It's so disjointed. And so things are just popping out of the blue that have no I mean, seriously, how did no one notice that there was a massive fleet being built? No. Honestly, it's also difficult to get invested in this movie because it feels like a weak, hollow, cheap remake of the original movies. We've already seen the Empire fall. Much better, by the way. A much better fall of the Empire, one that you actually got emotionally invested in. This, I don't feel anything because I've already seen it. And honestly, this is a weaker Empire with worse characters and people I don't care about. I don't care about Rey. I don't even like Rey, so I guess that makes me a misogynist. I don't like Rey. To be honest, I wanted Finn to be the one training to be a Jedi. And the fact that he later comes back in some stupid Lego movie and he's a bumbling idiot is just even more frustrating. I liked the character of Finn. He has depth. I could care less about Rey. On top of that, that reminds me, I kept waiting for Luke Skywalker to whack her upside the head and tell her, "You do know my name is Luke Skywalker." Because she keeps going on about how she's the granddaughter of Palpatine. Like it's a curse. Like, it's inevitable. He's the son of Darth Vader. Even if Darth Vader at the end was redeemed, he's the son of Darth Vader. And you're whining about being the granddaughter of Palpatine? Really? Like I kept expecting Luke Skywalker to go, "Bang! Have you forgotten my name?" It's so silly. So you're saying just because Palpatine's your grandfather, there's no way you're going to be anything but Sith? That would be like saying my father's good at math, so I must automatically be good at math. I just happen to be good at math, but that's beside the point. It has nothing to do with the fact that my father was good at math. I don't like this movie. I couldn't get invested in the story. I couldn't care less. Palpatine has already been defeated. this is a weak, hollow copy. It's fan fiction. And I feel insulting, to be insulting by calling it a fan film, because there are better fan films. Hell, if I were to buy a Star Wars action figure and record my cat batting it across the floor, that is a better Star Wars movie than what I just saw. I am very impressed. I mean, seriously, they had millions of dollars to make these movies. And they clearly seem to not know how to make a movie at all. I'm a retail worker, a warehouse retail worker, okay? If you had come to me and said, hey, we want you to make a Star Wars trilogy. Well, first off, I would have told you probably shouldn't hire me because I have no experience. But hey, putting that aside, one of the first things I would do is watch all of the original movies. Any original content, I would have watched it, so I know what the hell I'm getting into. Then I would start looking at the extended lore around it. I wouldn't automatically just go, okay, well, that's canceled. Even if they decide to cancel it, I still would have been like, hey, we have a valuable resource. Let's look into it. I thought they also had a storyboard team or something. What are these people doing? Sitting around getting drunk and high all day? Are they doing their job? They get paid many, many more times amount than I do. And clearly, they do less work than I do. You know what I actually would have done? I would have done what Bungie did. A couple years back, Bungie actually contacted a bunch of YouTubers and invited them to the Bungie HQ to talk about how they can improve Destiny 2. If I had been told I'm making Star Wars movies, one of the first things I also would have done was gone on YouTube and looked at people who create Star Wars lore. People who've created Star Wars fan films. And I would have invited a bunch of them. I would have told them, what books do you recommend? What EU content do you recommend? I would have gone online and looked up as many of the Star Wars books as possible because I know there are resources. Hell, I would have gotten the role-playing books too. Everything I could get my hands on to get a better understanding of what I'm getting into. These people, like I said, what are they doing all day? Are they sitting around getting drunk and high? Even if you're working at home, you could still be trying to figure out what you want to do that's good in Star Wars. But these people don't know anything about Star Wars. I haven't even seen the original trilogy in 3 years. And even before I saw this on YouTube, I was pretty sure the Death Star had been completely destroyed at the end of the Return of Jedi. I just wanted to double check to make sure. This is insulting. You know, when people have said in the comments to my videos that, hey, Disney is trying to destroy Star Wars, well, it doesn't make sense. I have to agree. Watching this trash tells me one thing and one thing only. They want to destroy Star Wars. They are trying to make the worst thing possible or either they're trying to destroy Star Wars or they're trying to bully the fans. I mean, seriously, they call people like Drunk 3PO, Geeks and Gamers, Star Wars Theory. They call them bullies? They call them alt-right? Really? They're the bullies. And I wouldn't be surprised if they sit around all day going, hey, what can we do to piss off the fans? You know what? I have an idea. Let's get Gina Carano fired because we hear they really like her character. They're not looking into Star Wars. They're not trying to create good Star Wars. They're trying to come up with ways to insult and bully the fans. Period. I've been watching this for years, and I even doubted at one point. I even doubted that there was any way the Phantom Menace could possibly be right about it, that no company would be this stupid. But I have to accept the logic right in front of me. They are trying to destroy Star Wars. They are trying to bully the fans. This is by far one of the worst. I'm telling you, if I had been watching this in theaters, I would have walked out within the first 10 minutes. The theater we go to is in a mall. I would have returned to my parents and said, because it's usually a big family event, we go to a movie during the holidays, I would have turned to them and said, I have to use the bathroom, and I would have walked right out and met them after the movie was over. This is so bad. Anyway, I might make another follow-up video because as I think more about what I watched. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, And, yeah, wow. This is really disheartening. Really disheartening. Ghost, you have better control over the Force than they do.